So I got the tape peeled off of the intake manifold. I went ahead and put the carburetor studs in. Um, I wanted to go ahead and try to plumb this nitrous, or at least get the plate sitting and the solenoids mounted. So I went ahead and put the studs in because I'm trying to see if the studs are long enough for my nitrous plate. I got the nitrous outlet stinger system, and I'm trying to make sure we're gonna have clearance for the fuel rail, and I want to make sure the studs are long enough to go through the plate, through the card, and also through the throttle bracket plate that's going to hold the throttle linkage. We got the carburetor on, throttle bracket, and I just got the solenoid sitting up here. Looking like I'm gonna have to run both of them on this side because my nitrous solenoid, this bracket is so thick, unless I cut it out or do some little notching going on, the bracket is so thick in this area that the line that's going to run from the solenoid to the plate, it's not going to let it bolt down and sit flush. So the only other option I had was to put it over there. And it don't look too bad like that. I kind of wanted to offset the solenoids, but with them ran like this, what I'll have to do, I just run the line from the fuel solenoid back here, and then this nitrous line come from here to the plate, come from the bottle into the feed here, and I just run it out right here with the purge, come back with the purge line and run it out this way. So might work out fine that way. I do have enough clearance left, not enough clearance, but enough threads coming out on the studs when I get ready to mount my throttle breaker down. And I want to point this out because a lot of people sometimes when they put these spacer plates on, if you look right there, you can see it's got a little gap from that stud and the plate, and then it's going to hit the throttle bracket in this area. So a lot of times when y'all tighten it down, y'all don't see that little gap right there. Tighten your plate down, and then when you crank it up, you wonder why you can't get the aisle down. The aisle stuck high. So I'm gonna have to push a couple washers up under this throttle bracket to get it to sit flush and get it off of the throttle linkage. So when I'm at wide open throttle, we can get on some ass. But so far, so good. Rolling down here, she look real good enough. If y'all like it, I love it. And we're gonna get I would love to go ahead and lock this down, but I don't have another gasket to put in between my throttle, my nitrous plate and the carburetor. And I really just wanted to mock it up to make sure everything's gonna fit right before I locked it down. So we got all the proper, I know everything I need to do to get everything locked in. So I'm gonna get the gasket and the studs and the linkage and everything locked in place, get the lines ran, and we'll go from there. Outside they got weed eaters going, so it's a little loud. But on the last video, we did a mock-up on getting the brackets and solenoids set in place. And I put my washers under my bracket plate. I'll show y'all that. I got my washers this time sitting up under my black bracket plate so that it's not touching right here. So when you hit the gas, see that little gap? That way you can tighten it all the way down. Everything is locked down in place now. So when I go to wide open throttle, got no interference right here. But I'm gonna show y'all what all we done did. As you can see, I'm still working, but I got the solenoids mounted. I got the fuel carburetor feed line on. I got the lines ran to the solenoids. I got the regulators on the MSD box mounted, and I got the progressor mounted. So right now, only thing left to mount is to mount the ignition coil, and then I'm waiting on my fuel cell to come in. Once the cell come in, I can run the fuel line from the cell all the way back up here to my regulators, and then I got the lines running out where they need to go. Just run the lines back up to the regulators, set the pressures on those. Waiting on the headers to come in. Once I get that and run the hot wire for the battery back to the trunk, that'll be it. I'll be ready to make some noise with this thing real soon. I got the radiator sitting over here with the dual fans. Probably gonna change it out to a smaller radiator. Try to save a little weight and just run one single fan. Got all the wires mounted on the inside, up under the dash, fuel pump, shocks, a couple other things I gotta do. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dye this dash black. It's an ugly blue right now. So I'm gonna dye this black. I'm gonna clean it real good. It's got a lot of overspray dust and all that from the windshield being out. So I'm gonna wipe it down real good with some acetone. I'm gonna dye it black. And I'm gonna go ahead and run the gauges to the inside and the control switch panel. And that'll be it for the day. May come back in the shop later on tonight and go ahead and install the radiator while that dye is drying for the dash. And that'll be it. Other than that, that's it. As you're looking, we're getting progress, making progress. I can only work on it once the shop shut down. I got to slow down waiting on parts. It's the only time I really have time to work on my own car, so I can't do it as fast as I want to, but I'm getting it done. Back in the shop late night. Been wiring this thing up. Been probably wiring it now about maybe a week, but I just want to show y'all how far I got, what I've done, and how the wiring is look and how it's going. So y'all can see I just mounted my relays on the firewall, drilled a couple holes, ran them through. Finally got my coil in. Put the fans and the radiator in. Got my transmission fan and cooler ran. So this car was originally being taken off the frame when I got it, so it didn't have any wires. So I made my own kind of ignition control panel box that I got from bought one of those little ignition panels from Quick Car. And you can see I'm getting my wiring going on. A little tedious process. I hate wiring, so it'll probably taking me longer than it would take someone that wires stuff up on a regular basis. But I'm getting it done. So take y'all around to this side. Let's see what I got. So right now, I got all of the relays wired. I'm working on sending power to the control box, and it'll just be ignition, and I have fuel pump, water pump, fan 1, fan 2, and the nitrous to on the nitrous off of this ignition panel. And so far I got everything wired up except for the nitrous stuff. Missing a couple pieces on it, but so I can get this light on. I want y'all to see under here. It's not cleaned up, it's messy. Got all the wires under here, but once I get everything tied in together, I'm gonna loom everything up, butt everything together that needs to be butted together, and everything will be hid. The carpet will be over the power and ground for the most part, so you won't see any wire. I know a lot of people probably would have ran this different and say why you didn't run to a board, but the purpose of me painting all up under the firewall and having it the same color as the car would defeat the purpose of mounting the board, so I just mounted everything to the firewall. My personal preference, look clean to me, ain't hurt nothing. But we almost got this thing wired in. We got to get the fuel system plumbed up and finish hooking up the nitrous, and we should be making some noise here very, very soon. Also going to remove this brake boost, I think, put a manual system on it, manual brakes. And I think that's about it. Also, yeah, these what's it, Schofield headers, that steering shaft is extremely close to the header, so I may try to get some clearance right there, but the car does turn left and right with no problem. So once again, you know, old school, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's it.